And we're live. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to 2025. How was y'all's first Monday back at work? I know some of y'all took full advantage of the 2 week vacation. I know I did. So I just want to check in and see, first of all, how's everybody doing? Oh, wait a minute. And my phone is. I don't know if y'all can hear my phone. Can y'all hear my phone? I know some of y'all took full advantage of the. My phone is clearly glitching right now. Sorry for those technical difficulties. But like I was saying, how are you guys doing? Hope you guys had a phenomenal Christmas break. Happy New Year's, happy Kwanzaa, whatever you guys celebrate. I hope you guys just enjoyed a good holiday break. But I hope you guys are ready to hit the ground running in 2025. So let's go ahead and get into today's topic, because your mental wellness is very, very essential in 2025. Before we get into that, for those of you who are here for the first time, my name is Cameron Lovelace. I am your holistic mental health specialist that's dedicated to helping high performers maintain their mental wellness so that it doesn't get in the way of their professional performance. That is all that I do. That is why I host these mental wellness lives every Monday, to help give you tips so that you can stay at the top of your game. And this week is no different. So, this whole month, really, we're dedicating to really mental wellness and performance. Other weeks, other months, we might talk about nutrition. We might talk about burnout specifically. But this one, we're specifically talking about the connection between your mental wellness and your performance. Because the thing about it is, a lot of people, especially high level people that are high performers, that work a lot of hours, that are just workers, that just put their nose down and just grind, they have a tendency to overlook the importance of their mental health. Now, really just health in general. Let's start with regular health, because a lot of people just work. And especially if they have like a corporate sedentary job where they're sitting all day, making phone calls all day, on Zoom calls all day, on, they're sitting, they're not really active, and then they work all day and they come home and they're tired, or they gotta run to a baseball game with their kids, or they gotta run to a date night, or they gotta run to an engagement. Like, they gotta be jumping all over the place, and so they don't really put their health on the forefront of it, because it's all about the job, it's all about the grind, right? And so if that's the case with your physical health, it can even be worse for the mental health as well. And it is so important that we prioritize it, because if your mental health, just like if the doctor comes in and tells you that you have a sickness, that you have a disease, it's going to rock your world. The same thing is plausible to our brain health, our mental well-being, our emotional state, all of those things as well. And a lot of these things, to take care of those areas, we can do on the front end. So, but if we don't, the reality is it's going to get in the way of how we flow, how we focus, how we do the work, and it's going to keep you from reaching your highest of heights in your potential. Don't believe me? Okay, let me give you a couple examples. Number one, probably the most famous example that I like to use when I'm speaking, Kate Spade. So if you are a lady watching this, then you have probably heard of Kate Spade, whether it's a purse or a wallet or whatever the case may be, and you know how she passed away. And the reality of the fact is, she was at the top of the game. Kate Spade is still a brand that is still selling to this day. And unfortunately, she's no longer here because she passed away the way that she passed away. And there are several people that are at the highest of heights in their field, in their profession, that talk about how they take care of their, not just their physical health, but they talk about their mental wellness as well. Just recently, over this past Olympics, Simone Biles talked about how important it was for her to meet with her therapist even while she's all the way in Paris. Now, mind you, there's probably about a 12, 16-hour time difference. So the therapist obviously was either staying up late or getting up real early to meet the needs of her client and make sure that she's at the top of her game. And so making sure for you, let me say that again, to make sure that you're at the top of your game, you got to make sure that your mental wellness is A1 day one. And you really got to understand, maybe you've just been avoiding it. You probably do understand, but you probably just been avoiding it. Your job, your life has a lot of pressure. It's very demanding. What is it for you? Drop in the comments below, especially those of you who watch on the replay. I want you to drop in below. I want you to get engaged on this content, on the community, and be a part. But comment below, what are some of the most stressful parts of your job? Every job has its own unique, specific challenges. So for sales, it might be dealing with angry customers. For um, for mental health professionals, it might be clients who are, emotionally strong, or they're calling you, or they're high risk clients. If you're an educator, it could be parents. It could be when a child is disruptive. Every job that is a high stress job, a high performing job, has its stressful parts. And really, if you can get through those tensions and get to the reward, it's a very, beneficial job. But every job has its own challenges, and how do you bounce back from those challenges oftentimes reflects how long you can last in that profession. How you deal with the challenges of your profession dictates how long you typically last in that profession. I used to work somewhere, I'm not going to say their name on here, but they are a burnout factory in certain positions. And the job kind of knows it, and the job just kind of, we'll just have somebody in here in another few months. When I say a burnout factory, I mean that the job turnover was 6 months or less. And I was in one of those positions. I made it to 9 months before I transitioned to another job. So every job has its challenges, but you got to learn how to deal with those challenges from a mentally holistic way. Well, let me not say holistic, from a mental wellness way. Because the reality of the fact is, if you are constantly overwhelmed with work, if you're getting bombarded with emails, if you're physically tired, you're working extra hours, you're working overtime, you're not getting enough sleep, you're not getting enough to eat, you're overwhelmed with emails, you got projects coming down the pipeline, you're going to get overwhelmed if you don't have a way to deal with your mental. Now, an example of this is, let's translate to the physical example. If I'm holding a 5-pound weight and I'm holding it for an hour, my arm's going to start to get tired, even though it's 5 pounds. And the reality of the fact is, your 9 to 5 or 8 to 6 or whatever your shift is, it's going to build on you. You're going to be holding that weight, right? And then you put it down. Hopefully you're not taking your work home with you. But after we put our weight down, after we deal with the challenges, after we deal with the struggles, after we deal with all the stressors that come from work, we have life going on. Each and every one of us has different trials and tribulations that we deal with. And sometimes we're just unplugging from work and we're just plugging straight into those problems. We don't have ways to navigate those specific issues, those specific traumas, those specific managers, those specific projects. We just are going and going and going like the little engine that could. Well, the little engine that could needs an oil change. And we need a tune up, we need tire, we need everything changed. You get what I'm saying? And so that's the importance of having a mental wellness routine, because if you don't, the smallest of things can set you off. The smallest of things can set you back. A real example of this was really just last night. Oh yeah. In my house, so the love of my life, my wife, was doing her hair. Now, if you are a spouse of a black woman and they have natural hair, you know that wash day is an all day thing. It's really any, I won't even say wash day. Any kind of styling can be a process, right? To the point where my wife was literally ready to cut off her hair yesterday. And I mean that quite literally. You see, the process started with undoing her previous hairstyle and taking it out. Now, this takes quite a bit of time, and I even had to help her. And what you got to understand is, if you're undoing a particular hairstyle, your arms are in this position for quite some time. And like I just said with that 5-pound weight example, if you're holding your arms up, you're holding your shoulders up in this position, I'm trying to watch myself on the screen, all this is going to get tired and tight if you're just working on this for hours and hours and hours. So there was that situation. Once that was done, then she had to wash her hair. Okay, so we're taking breaks in between, but she undid her previous hairstyle. We get something to eat, and then she had to wash her hairstyle. This is where it started to get a little overwhelming for her. Because her hairstyle, because of her hair texture, her hair has started to knot together in certain spots, right? And as she's working through it, again, mind you, she's been at this for hours, so all this tension, which is the stress areas, it's building up and it's just hurting and hurting and hurting. And she's seeing these large clumps of hair and she's just, and she can't work it. She can't work through it. And it was to the point to where she was in tears trying to work it out. And she came to me and said, I'm just going to have to cut my hair. She didn't say it that calmly, mind you. But I recognized that in that moment, my wife was overwhelmed. She was overstimulated, and she was about to make a very, very emotional driven decision. But here's the thing. Some of you act just like that because of work. Some of y'all had some rough moments last year in 2024 that made you in a real emotional, fragile state. And because of that, you reacted instead of responding. Now, I don't know the outcome of that. Only you know. But I think we both know that if you had a strategy to collect yourself, to calm yourself, and be able to respond to the situation, it could have gone a completely different way. Even in the leading up to it, even in how you are engaging with your coworkers, even with how you're responding to your emails, even with how you're taking breaks in between the long meetings, the hard things that are about your job, even when you're dealing with that can make a world of difference if you have a routine, if you have a way to essentially take care of yourself. So I want to challenge you today. One, do you have a wellness routine for your mental health? Do you have a way to calmly and healthily decompress your mental and emotional wellness, especially after a long grind, right? Because when you do, not only are you able to respond differently, but you are able to take on just a little bit more. You're able to handle it a little bit better. What do you mean by that? So, depending on how much mental fortitude that you're building, when the stress comes, when disappointments come, you don't break down and burn out. Now, am I saying that you continue to put yourself in stressful situations? Absolutely not. What I'm saying is the more that you take care of yourself, the more that you take care of your mental and emotional wellness, the more defense that you have against that level of professional and personal BS. So when you, because matter of fact, let me give you a couple examples. When somebody has stepped on your shoe, you have a cracked windshield, you spill all of your food, and you were really hungry. When somebody comes at you sideways, your response may be a little bit different because you've had boom, 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 boom. Things happen, right? And it's the same way with your job. Your job is typically doing the same routine things, maybe a surprise here or there, maybe a high pressure season or a high pressure week that happens here and there. But that build up, where it's just a breeze of the wind that has you breaking down and burning out, that's what happens. Oh, hold on for a second. This is my wife calling. Hello, wife.
You live?
I am live.
Bye.
Bye. I'll call you back. I'm almost done.
Okay.
Shout out to the love of my life. But even the slightest of breezes can throw you off when you have a tremendous amount of overwhelming, or I won't even say overwhelming, just literal thing after thing after thing after thing happening. And so you have to have that level of routine and resilience for your mental and emotional well-being, just like for your physical well-being. Like when people, now I'm not talking about athletes, but when regular people need hip knee replacements or they need back problems, it's typically not because of a freak accident. It's because of a buildup over time of decisions or mismanagement and posture or decreasing in strength. The same is said for the mental and emotional well-being when we're talking about extreme things like depressions or emotional outbursts, things like that. That doesn't just happen all of a sudden. It happens over time. And the thing is, if you want 2025 to be what you want it to be, if you want to put yourself in those high pressure situations to get those high pressure rewards, you got to be able to manage yourself on that mental and emotional level. It's just the reality of the fact. If you're saying you want to make more money, for some of you, that means you're going to have to work harder, or you're going to have to work smarter, which means you're going to have to do something different, which means you're going to be challenged in a different way, which means you're going to be put in a different position that might be uncomfortable. Now, for some of you, you're going to say you want to do more, you're going to try to do more, and then you're going to say, that's uncomfortable. No, that's too much. That's a bit too overwhelming for me. That's too much on my plate. But then there are some of you who are going to take heed to this live. And what you're going to do is you're going to be able to push through it without burning out. You're going to be able to conquer it without getting overwhelmed. You're going to be able to progress through your goals. You're going to be able to hit all of your targets because you were able to maintain your mental well-being. That's my challenge and my exhortation to you. And if you want a first-hand tips, if you want the mental exercise, if you want the visualizations that I provide to my clients to my corporate clients when we're talking about big businesses, small businesses, and also to my individual clients when we're talking about my counseling clients, then you can hit the link below and get all of my mental wellness courses below. For this one, I definitely recommend the Turn Your Stress Off mini course, which is going to give you not only the tools, it's going to give you the exercises, it's going to give you the prompts, but it's also going to teach you how to implement it in your daily routine. And if you also look at the link below, you're going to see an option to get 25% off. I'm starting off the full quarter. So don't say I never gave you nothing. For the full quarter, I'm giving you 25% off of the Take Your Stress Off mini course for 2025. But got to hit the link below, fill out the information so you can get the coupon code that you need. Okay? Now, like I said, we're going to be doing this every single Monday. I'm gonna try to hit at least, 52 weeks in a year. I'm going to try to hit at least 40. So I'm going to give myself a 12 week grace. But I'm going to try to hit 40 mental wellness lives. I'm only going to take, we'll see if I can hit more than 40. But I want to take into account vacations, holidays, things like that. But here I am giving this to you guys, Mental Wellness Live. Take care of your mental wellness. It's very important now. And also, when we talk about mental wellness, I don't necessarily just mean therapy. Therapy is good, but therapy sometimes is like the deep work, the deep reflective, challenging work. Working with a mental health professional is great. It's awesome. But some people are not ready to do that. Some people ain't ready to look in that mirror. Some people ain't ready to do that consistent work. But you can definitely do the emotional techniques to help bring you to baseline, to help you go from overwhelmed, stressed out, and almost on the brink of burnout back to stable, calm, resting. Get what I'm saying? So that's mostly my challenge to you. If you want to do therapy, that's good for you. But I'm going to go ahead and get off here and call my lovely wife back. I will see you guys next Monday on the Mental Wellness Live. Bye, guys.